So, Master Tail, please, just call me Alex. Alright then, so Alex, how did you wind up in Mr. Clutter's shop? Well, it's a funny story. See, I'm a dishwasher at my uncle's tavern. On my way out of the kitchen, delivering dishes to my uncle so he could deliver them to the customers, my cousin tripped me. A couple of plates shattered, my uncle became angry, kicked me out of the place, and I had to walk around for a little bit. While walking around town, I saw a sign. Well, in a way. When I first read the sign, it said, "Adventurers wanted, apply within." When I looked at it again, the sign said, "Great adventures, decent prices, apply within." Thinking of it as some new sign flipper, I decided to walk in and ask the store owner. Looking back, that was probably the point of no return. A magic sign. I suppose I very well could have, but you've never met Mr. Clutter. In what way couldn't you just walk out? The man's mouth runs like a river, and his ears pick up about as much as a vacuum cleaner without a motor. From the moment I walked in, he had me filling out questions and answers on an application titled Adventurer. Most of the answers weren't even mine. He just put them down himself after guessing what I would say. My favorite question: what's your favorite number? Before I could even spit out 2, he had already put down 7. No, I haven't. Please, tell me a little bit about him. Of course, who wouldn't? Mr. Clutter told me that time would stand still, because the world where I'm from, and you, are not part of the known lands. Well, I guess that explains why you were on the adventure. But what of your uncle and cousin? Weren't you worried about them? Next question, please. And you believed the strange man whom had just filled out an application in your name, almost by himself. Why? Well, a member of the company. Alright. Then let's get down to the meat of it, shall we? The adventure. What did you have to do, and how did you prepare to do it? The 7 of us going on this adventure. As I was saying, a dwarf named Thrang offered to stand good for me. So he sent Andy and I out to buy equipment. What is the company? It means that he would pay the cost of what I needed. What does stand good mean? Well, yes. You see, in the known lands, the concept of honor is almost as powerful as law. I'm sure the shopkeepers never even considered that someone like Thrang would try to not pay them, or that we would lie and attempt to make Thrang pay for us. But you just said you and Andy were sent to buy the equipment. Slaying Slathbog the Red. I see. It's too bad we can't be like that here. Care to tell me what you had to do on this adventure? Slathbog the Red, a dragon known for destroying cities and killing people. Dragons steal and kill habitually, you see. Who? Of course not. Most adventurers never even try to fight a dragon, what with the risk of winding up dead and whatnot. But if you should fight a dragon, and by some chance you live, you'll find yourself in possession of the Horde. Enough wealth that you would never have to worry about money again, nor would your children or your children's children. And this is an average adventure. Well, we did need to receive money in order to finance the adventure, and to compensate each other for the risk to our lives. But the primary purpose of the adventure was to kill Slathbog the Red, and prevent him from destroying any more cities or killing any more people. So the purpose of this adventure was money after all, huh? Well, it sounds rather strange when you put it like that, but yes. Hold up, let's get this straight real quick. You were scolded by your uncle, left dejectedly and walked around, found a bookstore, was enlisted into an adventure by a strange man you've never met before, and now you're off to fight a dragon. This is an interview, not a criticism of my life choices, right? Yes, sorry about that. In exchange, care to tell me a little bit about fighting the three-legged ogre and finding the 7 magic bags? There isn't too much to say. My horse was about to be killed by the ogre, so I fought it. As it would turn out, this was a rather large mistake. I immediately lost my sword, the ogre grabbed my leg, hung me upside down. In desperation, I cast a spell. Hold the phone! You were a dishwasher until less than a week before this. Where in the world did you learn magic? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. While getting equipment, the blacksmith measured me in order to determine which weapons I could use well. The results came back as my being able to use a sword and a staff exceptionally well. Upon hearing this, Thrang offered to teach me magic. I'm sure the company was very impressed. How did they react to this? He taught me 2 spells. First, Inferno, to start a fire, and Quench, to put out a fire. In desperation, I pointed a finger at the ogre and said, "Quench." Looking back, I think I quenched the internal fire that drove him to kill me. All this fighting is really exciting to hear about. Care to tell me about fighting Slathbog? Well, they were impressed, but they were not happy at all. You see, to fight the ogre, I abandoned my post, leaving Andy alone at camp, and at the same time putting them in danger. In retribution for this, I lost my extra share of the hoard, and I did not gain any honor for killing the ogre. The best way to describe it would be terrifying. The dragon lured us into his lair, dropped down on us from above. We all would have been flattened if Bregnist hadn't warned us. As it was, we were scattered, and he was about to breathe fire all over us and cook us alive. So I did something stupid again. I looked into his eyes. You see, looking into a dragon's eyes is akin to suicide most of the time. As soon as you look into his eyes, the dragon can destroy your soul as easily as it could a wall. With this in mind, care to tell me why in the world you would do something like that? It felt like the most appropriate thing to do. It most certainly was not. Whatever the case, the dragon did not break me, and instead held still long enough for Teo to kill it. Alex, I cannot say I understand why you do what you've done, but it most certainly makes a riveting story.